I saw quite a few films in the past few days. Haven't had a chance to upload the videos or do the reviews, so we're going to be knocking a lot out. First film I want to talk about today is Caught Stealing, the new Darren Aronofsky film. Now, this is a film that I have been very excited to see. I've been seeing a lot of trailers for it over the past 6 weeks or so. Every time I go to the movies, different trailers playing, a different cut, a lot of trailers, so there's been a lot of build-up. I want to start by saying that I feel like the trailers were very misleading on what type of film this was going to be. Going in, I thought it was going to be more of not a heist film, but kind of more along the lines like an Ocean's 11 type style film where it's a drama, but there is some lightheartedness in there and it's not overly gritty. Because it kind of plays off that way, like he's good, like they're pulling off this. The trailers portray it as being a more popcorn kind of flick, but again, it's Darren Aronofsky, so you should know better going in that you're not getting a typical popcorn flick. It's going to be a lot more gritty. And with that being said, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. However, it definitely still held up and held its own. The performances in the film, absolutely, completely spot on. Austin Butler killed it again in this film, and I have to admit, I absolutely love Zoe Kravitz in this film. I never disliked her as an actress. I've never had an issue with any film she's been in, or felt that she ever phoned in a performance. However, in this film, I absolutely adore her in this film. And this is like the film I think that really kind of hooked me as a Zoe Kravitz fan. And I can't wait to see what she does next. There's just certain films, like, I think everybody has those films where certain actors or actresses are in a film and it just completely changes your perception of them. Another example of that would be Emily Blunt. I remember seeing her in The Devil Wears Prada because she had a small supporting role, and she killed it in that performance, but her character was so unlikable that I just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I just never liked Emily Blunt after that. Like, for the longest time, I didn't like, I wasn't a huge fan of hers, and then it wasn't until I saw Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, and absolutely she won me over with that one, and I just loved her in that film so much. Now I'm a huge Emily Blunt fan. I'll literally seek out anything she's in. So I feel like that's kind of what Zoe Kravitz in this kind of scenario this film kind of gave me. Not that I ever disliked Zoe Kravitz, but I was never like a die-hard fan. Like, I think she did okay in Matt Reeves' The Batman. I didn't dislike her in it, but it wasn't like this. Like, her performance in this one really kind of stole the show. And again, there's a lot of great performances in this film. As far as what to expect, it's a Darren Aronofsky film, so I never seen Requiem for a Dream, but I've heard a lot of stories about it, and I heard it is like we'll never like see things the same way after seeing that movie. And I kind of feel like that going into this movie, you have to kind of know what you're going into, and that's a Darren Aronofsky film. And I've seen a lot of his films, now, of course, not every one of his films, but a good portion of them. So I kind of was going in a little weary too, because I knew that there's no way he's making like this blockbuster kind of film. It's going to be more gritty. The trailers just kind of had me throw a loop, and I feel like that's the biggest kind of misconception, and kind of is going to alter your experience if you go in thinking it's going to be something it's not. Because again, this is a very gritty crime drama. Really, the best way I can pitch this movie is it's The Big Lebowski means True Romance. And True Romance might be a little on the rocks. It's not a perfect explanation of what this film is, but it has a very similar feel, which is, a couple on the run from the mob, which is essentially what this film kind of turns into. But it also has very much a Big Lebowski kind of center to it, which just really works. And overall, if you're not going to be disappointed in this film going into it, again, the dialogue is great. There is a few moments in which I would argue that there is slight, and I mean slight, not necessarily a plot hole, but it kind of, like, it's, there's one scene, well, a big portion of your twist, your third act twist, comes off a moment in which works, but at the same time, I would question it, but it's not a plot hole necessarily because it's very possible, plausible, and makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, it's a bit much, I think. Although it's very realistic and very possibly could happen. So again, it's not like a plot hole. It's just kind of like, I wouldn't have done that. But there's a couple things I was a little disappointed in. Again, spoiler free, so I don't want to ruin anything. But again, going into this film, if you just know what you're getting yourself into, it's a Darren Aronofsky film. It's not going to be, a popcorn flick. It's very gritty through and through, and he holds no bars, and it works. I mean, honestly, it wasn't the movie I expected it to be, but I still absolutely love the movie. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a full price. Not enough to call it a Ferris Bueller, just because I'm still a little disappointed in some aspects, but it's definitely a full price film. If you go and see this film, pay your full price, you're not going to be disappointed. Again, there's not really much I can say negative about the film. Other than just the marketing kind of gives it a false sense of what the film really is. Being said, have you saw the film? What are your thoughts? Comment below. Let me know.